afternoon, fellow sim historians. Welcome back to my Victorian Sims 2 challenge. Thanks for joining me here today with one of our wealthiest families in the challenge thus far, the Prices. And the Prices are only one of two families right now that actually have domestic servants. And we are starting right off today with the birthday of our Gen 3 heir in the Price household, Julian Rupert Price. And I am so excited for little Julian to age up into a child, primarily because there are two twin babies in the household and I'm losing my mind a little bit. So very excited for us to have him age up so we have a little bit like less chaos. So here's Julian as a child. I think he's absolutely adorable. He looks a lot like both of his parents. I think maybe he has his dad's mouth, and then of course he has those classic Holloway bright blue eyes and red hair. So unfortunately we aged him up pretty late in the day, so he doesn't actually get an opportunity to really celebrate his birthday. He didn't even get to eat any of his birthday cake, which is just like kind of sad. So unfortunately he has to go to bed like pretty much immediately, and we'll finish celebrating tomorrow, kiddo. We won't. We all know we won't. So Molly comes to check in on him, make sure he is sleeping and such, but she's honestly like really struggling. I think Molly's feeling quite a lot of guilt about what's been happening between her and Marcus. As a lot of you guys commented in the last few episodes, you felt like maybe Leonora was perhaps aware or at least suspicious as to what's been going on between her father and their maid. So Leonora's been really like picking up the slack around the house and won't really let Molly near the babies. She's a little bit protective and a little bit suspicious. Actually, she's probably more than suspicious. As we saw in today's vignette, the two haven't exactly been careful about hiding their relationship in front of the kids, which isn't exactly great to see. But surprisingly enough, Marcus and his wife Delphine are closer than ever. In fact, we have a lot more autonomous romance happening between them than ever before in this household. Does that have something to do with the fact that I downloaded ACR? Yes, but we're gonna say it's part of the plot because that's what we do here. So we have them just like cuddling and canoodling in bed and stuff, and they're just proper cute. And Delphine doesn't have any idea that something is happening between Marcus and Molly. She has absolutely no clue. What she does suspect, however, is that Molly and Leonora have gotten into some kind of little quibble, but she's not sure what's happening. Also, we have piglets. We got 4 piglets. This is the second round of piglets we've got in this challenge, in this family. Unfortunately, all of our cows died. That's my fault. They all died of starvation. So at some point, we're gonna have to buy more cows. And I'm really frustrated about that because cows are like 500 simoleons. Also, this house is chaos. Molly is not exactly doing her job as well as she used to. The house is just really messy. There are bottles everywhere. I mean, part of this just comes with the territory of having twin babies, but it's also a bit of a problem that it's not exactly being well maintained like during the day because stuff is just piling up properly. And with all of the autonomous relations between Marcus and Delphine, I'm a little bit worried that we're gonna have another baby running around here soon, and I'm not ready. I'm really not ready. I really don't want them to. And poor Delphine, she has this worry animation constantly during the day, just this very worried little mom. I feel so bad for her. I know a lot of you guys really love Delphine, and so it makes me really sad that we've put her in this position, but it had to happen. It did. I'm sorry. So to thank the Averys for throwing the town ball recently, we actually decided to invite them over to the twins' birthday party. And Georgina comes around as well because she married into the same family that Delphine grew up in, a Holloway family. And so she pops by as well. And then look, we have Sophie who came over, and she's just immediately loving on her little nieces. And it is time for their birthdays. We have Lilith here aging up first, and I'm just really excited to see what they look like because we have one toddler with red hair and one toddler is gonna have brown hair. And so Lilith is our little redhead, and I love the genetics in The Sims 2, especially since I don't think they break as easily as the genetics in The Sims 4. I mean, yes, there's the whole firstborn syndrome thing, but we got that fixed thanks to all of you and your hive mind comments in a single episode. I'm so grateful for that. So here we have little Lilith. She has, oh no, that's not Lilith. Here we have Lilith. Here we have Lilith with her little red hair. I think she's got her dad's mouth and everything else is from her mom's side of the family, but she's really cute. I gave her some dark red hair. And then here we have little Prudence, who looks just like her father. I am honestly kind of shocked by how much she looks like Marcus. You don't really see like Sims in The Sims 2 look like proper clones of their parents, even though it can happen. So I kind of love when it happens. It's so cute and so fun. So I decide to send Marcus and Molly off to the Butcher's Price, and this is their butcher shop that they run. Unfortunately, Ada's a little bit too old. She's kind of passed on the shop to her son and her son's family, and so she's not really involved in it. So normally we just have Marcus and Molly come to help out. Now that we have so many kids at the household, it's not really like Delphine that comes around, even though we have this great woman, Ada, taking care of her grandkids. I love that so many of you were making all of these comments about how maybe Ada shouldn't get married again, and I am so glad that I listened to you guys because she is such a perfect single widow. Since she's not in a relationship, she has so much energy and time to devote to her grandkids, and I just really love that for her. And so I also decide maybe it's a good idea to get the ladies out of the house because things have just been a little bit tense. And especially because Delphine just keeps worrying and wandering around crying, and I hate that for her. So I send the ladies out with the women from the Avery family. So here we have Marion Avery. She is the daughter. She's a little bit shy and quiet, which is honestly kind of the opposite of Leonora. As we know, Leonora tends to speak her mind, especially in concerns to her family, and so I think they could make a cute little friendship happening. And then here's her mother, Lucille, and I think that maybe Lucille's probably not going to be as close with the adults in the family, but I really do want Marion and Leonora to become friends. So I love spending time at the tea house. The next time I play the rotation at the Lawsons, I think I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so we can fit like some more families and some more decor, and we can have these nice buffet tables because some of you mentioned some really beautiful buffet tables that have like lace and tablecloths on them on the Discord, and I'm so excited to use them. So that will be coming up soon. Maybe we'll debut that in the next episode at the Kings. And so we do have Molly finally starting to pick up her duties again at the house. It's been a little bit of a rough time with her having to kind of divide her attentions between Marcus and the housework, but she does still act like part of the family, just like kind of lounging on their chairs. If she acted any different, I think the household would, you know, maybe notice that something is going on and something is wrong. And here we have Ada playing with her grandson, Julian. Gosh, do you guys love Ada as much as I do? I just think she's so sweet. And here are these two, once again, just completely all over each other. It's so nice to see, and like, the fact that they've been so close this episode honestly makes me feel so bad about what we've done behind her back. Like, Delphine has no idea, and we've just kind of blown up her marriage for the sake of drama. But as I mentioned in one of my early episodes, we do it for the drama. You know, it's just, The Sims 2 is full of chaos and we have to capitalize on it. But thankfully, Ada is none the wiser. She could care less as to what is happening in her house. Unfortunately, Molly is throwing up, and as all of you Sims 2 players know, that means she's pregnant. I did not intend for this to happen. She and Marcus slept together once, and they're both a little bit over their halfway point of adulthood. So I figured like, oh, they're aging, you know, fertility's not as great. It's probably not gonna be an issue. We can keep this going for a while. Nope. First time they sleep together, Molly gets pregnant. So that's going to be a problem in this household. And because Leonora's been a little bit tense as to what's going on in the house, I decided to let her invite over a friend after school. So this is Gregory Westerfield. This is Maxine and Marisol Westerfield's little brother and heir to a Westerfield house. This isn't the Westerfield that married Molly, or this isn't the Westerfield that married Mary. This is his brother. And so, I think that Leonora perhaps has been sharing with her friend. So Gregory's been friends with Leonora since they were kids. He came over once or twice, like when they were school age, after school. And so I do suspect that Leonora would have maybe shared some of her concerns about what's happening in her household. And Gregory is having none of it. He actually starts fighting with Marcus and making Marcus cry. And this is all happening autonomously. I didn't even tell them to do this, and they're just constantly fighting and slapping each other. I don't even know what's going on. But obviously, I suspect that Gregory must be a family sim, and he must be livid at the fact that Marcus is ruining the potential family of one of his best friends. And look at him, he's thinking about marriage and slapping her father. Oh my god. You can't make this up in The Sims 2, guys. You really can't. So this is going on for quite some time. We have some serious problems. No one in the house has quite noticed what's happening yet. And they actually invite Gregory to stay for dinner. And Gregory's looking at Molly like, really? Are you even trying to hide this? And so I think he feels a little bit uncomfortable with everything that's happening. And he's just like, Marcus, I'm gonna leave. Have a nice night. Stop being dumb. And just politely exits himself out of the situation after absolutely demolishing Marcus. Honestly, I'm a little shocked they didn't start getting into brawls because, like, you'll notice at some point in this episode, the fights don't stop. So it's a nice proper dinner. Everyone's enjoying themselves. We probably should have swapped out Molly for Ada at the dinner table, but Ada wasn't hungry. She eats a little bit earlier than everyone else, which is just like kind of fitting because she's an elder at this point. And so after dinner, Marcus approaches Leonora and he's like, I think we need to talk about what you're telling your friends, because even if something is going on, we should not be spreading this information around town. We are a reputable family. I was almost the mayor. I was second in line. Like, you, if that chance ever comes back, you're going to hurt us in the long run with our reputation. Reputation is more important than family, which is perhaps not the best mentality, but this is the 19th century and they are upper middle class. And Marcus wants to be proper upper class. So I get a little bit overwhelmed with just the pure chaos and tension that's happening at the Price household. So I do decide to send everyone over to the school and we can spend a little bit of time without chaos at the schoolhouse. Well, actually, it's just kind of a different type of chaos. So we see little Aldous Lee. He is such a good student, and he's like the only one actually doing the reading he's supposed to do, and then everyone else is just like fighting. Why are you fighting? You're children. Can children even fight? Is this from ACR? Have I blown up my game? I don't know what's happening. Who is this? Is that Edgar Holloway? You have a Holloway boy fighting? Okay, and that is Samuel Westcott, one of Mary Jung's grandkids. Oh, and poor Aldous is like, cousin, what are you doing? Don't get into fistfights at school. Our family is like a problem as it is. Those Jung genetics, guys. Those Jung genetics. Oh, they are stronger than pretty much anything else in this game, if we're being honest. A lot of you have actually commented about like perhaps the genetic qualities of this kind of insanity happening at the Jung household. And I think you guys are right. In this era, we would call it heredity rather than genetics. But there was absolutely the mentality that mental illness was hereditary and inheritable through your family. So we're gonna have to try and keep that under wraps for the Jungs so their their reputation doesn't exactly fail. But it's late. All of the parents and grandparents come to collect the kiddos from school. We have some very tense and unhappy kids leaving today, but that's neither here nor there. And we've got Molly, who is showing, I think she's in her second trimester already, and it's to the point where everyone knows what's going on. And at first Marcus is like, oh my god, a baby. And then he's like, oh my god, a baby. This could ruin everything. So here's the thing. In this period, it was very much expected for your domestic servants, if they are unmarried, and usually they were unmarried, to remain chaste and pure. And this is a bit of a reputation problem. This is a bit of a scandal. So although Ada is such a proper little grandma, it's like, oh, well, this is interesting for you. Yay, a baby, but oh dear. It's unfortunately, oh, she just popped into her third trimester. Oh, Molly. It's unfortunately time for Molly to leave with us. She can't stay with the family in her condition like this. Especially given what's happening between her and Marcus, it's gonna get out if she stays here any longer. So she uses the family typewriter to reply to an advertisement for a local apartment down the road. Her little sister Janie has an open apartment next to her, and so she's going to go move into the same building as her sister. I love that Leonora there was the first to come up and be like, bye. You won't be missed. Please get out. But yep, so there our very pregnant Molly goes. It is honestly kind of sad. Molly's been with our family for so long. I mean, she practically was raised alongside Marcus and his sisters and is really close friends with, I think, Sophronia. So, oh, I wonder if Sophie is going to try and help out and maybe give her a position as a maid at their house. The Harveys don't really have enough money or space yet for a maid, but it's a possibility in the future. But overall, it looks like Molly's absence in the house is probably a good thing. Things are a lot calmer here. I mean, yes, there aren't really any helping hands around the house that are extra, and we won't have our new maid in the house until next Monday, so we're not gonna see who our new maid is until next rotation. Ada! Oh, she doesn't want to go. Oh my god, I feel so bad. Oh, of course she died just in front of the grandkids. That's so brutal. Oh my god, what a terrible way to die, in the kitchen surrounded by your youngest grandkids. Oh, that's just terrible. And poor Marcus is so beat up about it. Oh, and little Julian. Oh my god. Well, that was awful. I swear, like, my elders die at the moment I least expect them to die, which, like, breaks my heart. And they always die on a birthday. I don't know what's up with this, but all of my elders this generation just keep dying on their grandkids' birthdays. So it's time for the twins to age up to children. I'm really excited to see what they will look like. And first up, we have little Lilith. She is our red-headed child. And then, of course, we have Prudence, her sister. I'm really excited to see what Prudence looks like because I think she's gonna look just like Marcus, and you can see a little bit more about their genetics as they age up to children. Although, let's be real, you can tell what the kids are going to look like as toddlers in this game better than you can in The Sims 4, even though those toddlers are really cute little demons. Oh, look at Leonora, just like absolutely disgusted by her parents. That's hilarious. And here is little Prudence as a child. I think she's cute. I gave her this pink little dress with a pinafore, and I decided to just keep both of the girls in their original toddler hairstyles, which I think was a good idea because they work really well on them, and it's also a little bit hard to match Lilith's auburn color hair with any other reds, just because reds are a little bit hard to match, and like a lot of the reds don't have the same exact red. And then I realized that we actually ran out of bedrooms. We have so many kids in the house now. So on the 3rd floor, which was originally just the domestic servants quarter, I cut out a little bit of space for another bedroom, and we also have some activity tables and other cute little kid stuff. With both Molly and Ada no longer at the house, we also have to send Leonora to help with the butcher's shop, which she's never exactly done before. And so unfortunately she's still in school, so we have to send them to do work on Saturdays and Sundays. But also I just wanted to point out this activity table a little bit more. I got it, I think, from Beck over at Affinity Sims, and it is absolutely cute. I'm kind of obsessed with it because now I have a space for all 3 of my kids to actually like draw and play together and build up their skills simultaneously on one object. It has slots for 4 kids, so if we have another kid, we can have all 4 of them here, which honestly might happen given how Marcus and Delphine have been using ACR now. And by the way, if you're unfamiliar with ACR, what I'm talking about is the Autonomous Casual Romance mod, which I've recently added into my game. I'm a little bit worried it's causing the excess fighting, but I don't see anything in the code that should be causing fighting from what people have been talking about, so I'm not sure. You'll have to let me know if ACR has caused you a bunch of fights in your neighborhood. I'm honestly not very happy about it, but who knows? Love the drama. So we also decide to invite the Holloways over because I do think the Holloways would, you know, want to come over and offer their condolences after the death of Ada, because Delphine, Delphine is a Holloway, and so she came from the Holloway family, and these are all Georgina's daughters. We have Augusta and Caroline, the 2 youngest daughters, and then their son Edgar, who is about the same age as the kids in our family. He's a little older than the twins, so I think he's probably more of Julian's age. But look at these 2. It's so nice to see them, you know, acting like a couple again and not feeling like really ick about it given Marcus's relationship with Molly. But look at all these kids in here. It's just so cute. I love having them actually get along because not all the kids in my challenge have actually gotten along. And so Augusta is over here hanging out with Leonora. I really want Leonora to make some more friends just so she's not quite so much of a loner, because I do feel like she is more of a popularity sim than everyone else in the family. Here's Edgar hanging out with Julian. I really want them to be friends. I think that would be so cute because they're cousins, you know? And so thankfully, wait, oh my god, what is happening? Are the children fighting? At first I thought it was Edgar fighting, and I was like, oh, it's school all over again. Edgar is fighting his cousins. But no, it's Julian and his sister. What is happening? Why are all my kids fighting in this challenge? Oh my god, I didn't even know that kids could brawl like this. So we send the kids essentially to timeout, and timeout in this game is basically just sending them to study cooking. See, Edgar is such a sweet little baby. He would never fight with his siblings, but he would fight with a Westerfield, or a Westcott, or a Jung. I'm so confused about what is going on. Like, you know, the last few episodes, it's been a lot of, like, adults fighting with each other, and this episode, like, the theme is just, like, children out of hand. But it is nice to see the cousins actually getting along really well. I do like to see Augusta with her little cousins, but Marcus, after losing Molly and knowing that Molly was pregnant with his baby, is in a lot of aspiration failure. I don't exactly know what to do with him. I mean, I don't think he wants another baby. He's not actually rolling that want, so I'm not totally sure what's going on here with him. He is determined to ruin tea with the Holloways, and unfortunately decides to sit with them, and I think Delphine's a little bit like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Like, go. let your daughter sit and have tea with us. And gosh, I think Delphine is starting to realize what's going on because she's been seeing the way that Marcus is acting after Molly left. And so we actually start seeing her crying in these corners of the house, which is like honestly so heartbreaking because we love Delphine. I know we have a lot of Delphine stans, and it feels so cruel. I'm saying this a lot, but like I do feel bad about being mean to my Sims sometimes. Like, unpopular opinion, but it can be really horrible. So Leonora's been a little bit affected as to what's going on in the house and a little bit sad about the loss of her grandmother, so we do let her invite her friend Gregory over. Of course, we have Marcus supervising in the corner of the living room because, as we know, Marcus and Gregory do not get along. Out of all the Sims brawling in this episode, I'm shocked it's not these two. Instead, they're just picking proper little fights with each other and shoving each other and poking each other. Gosh, it's a time. But things are like okay at the moment. Never mind, I spoke too soon. So we actually have, Leonora is just standing outside of the hallway like, are you serious, Dad? Like, let me have a friend. Why do you have to fight my only friend? Oh, this is... Everyone is so upset, and everyone's like in the corner blaming Marcus about it too, not Gregory. I mean, to be fair, we have Marcus literally fist fighting with a teenager, so that's not exactly like appropriate. So we finally have Delphine come in, and she tries to put a stop to this, but they're just provoking each other more. And look at Leonora congratulate her mom like, you tried. Thank you. But she can't do anything about it. I mean, Marcus is just a mess, and so she's over in the corner completely worried about what's going on and feeling a little bit helpless. And so I think Leonora's like, Gregory, I think maybe you should leave. This is getting a little bit out of hand, and like, why can't you come over and just hang out with me and not fight my father? So on that note, I figure it's time maybe to give some of these Sims an outlet for their anger and like sadness, and so we send them over to the church for a little memorial service for Ada. Here she is next to Maxwell's grave. It's kind of like, it's nice, it's a little full circle to actually like finally see these two graves next to each other because it feels like Maxwell died so long ago. What is happening? Is this another fight? Seriously? Oh my god, these kids. So this is one of Philippa's sons, and he actually kind of takes a little bit of notice at Leonora. So his name is Alexander. I'm not exactly sure, but he's cleaning up the dead rats from the lot, which no one ever does, and they make everyone sick. So like, Alexander, you're great in my book. So of course we have these two up in the front. Behind them, we actually decide to have Leonora and Alexander sit together. So maybe something will spark there. I don't know. We'll have to see. And then behind them, we've got Georgina, and Mrs. Lucille Avery comes over as well with little Flora, who is here, of course, with Philippa. And look, Teresa actually shows up as well. She's now working at Philippa's house as the governess. Unfortunately, we do have one empty seat. We are missing Sophronia. Sophie wasn't able to come to the service this time, which is a little unfortunate. Oh, and look how much the service is affecting Alexander. He's such a soft boy. I kind of love that for Leonora. I don't know, do you guys ship that? You'll have to let me know what you think. I'm definitely interested in seeing if anything can happen there. Of course, she's still a little bit young, so, you know, nothing has to happen yet. But guys, it's time to say goodbye formally to our last member of Gen 1 in this challenge. And look, we've got some ghosties. We have Clement Harvey and a king. So before we end today's episode, I just wanted to pop over here and show you Molly's new apartment. So she is living over here next to a Sully boy who ended up marrying her sister, Janie Clark. So this is actually Mary's old apartment, Mary Jung, who moved out to her own little tiny house. We see we have one little bassinet, and of course it is time for her to have her baby all alone in her new apartment. Oh, Guys, it kind of breaks my heart that she is sort of without her like adopted family, the Prices, but this is how it has to be. So she has a little baby girl, and we name her Brooke Ginevra, and Brooke was actually a name that one of you guys mentioned in the comments a few episodes ago, so I did not forget about that, and we have used your name for Molly's baby, so thank you for giving us that name for use. Here is little Brooke as a toddler. She looks a lot like both of her parents, a lot like her mom with her skin tone, and she's got her dad Marcus's eyes. So thank you guys for watching today's episode. I hope you enjoyed it and it was a little bit less depressing than our tuberculosis episode. So don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.